So, ready to uncover how businesses are really using AI to get results. We're talking beyond the hype, the stuff that actually moves the needle.
Getting into the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. And after digging through all this research you sent, one thing is clear. A lot of companies, they're so focused on the AI penthouse suite.
The fancy algorithms, the shiny tech.
Yeah. They forget about pouring a solid data foundation first.
It's like they're trying to build a skyscraper on sandcastles, right? All the fancy algorithms in the world won't make up for shaky data.
Exactly. And that's where this research comes in. It's a roadmap, a blueprint for building that rock-solid foundation. No shaky foundations here.
It's funny, right? Everyone wants to jump into the AI pool, but nobody wants to check the water temperature first. This source material, it really highlights that. It all starts with your data strategy.
You wouldn't start building a house without a blueprint, would you?
And you definitely wouldn't start laying bricks without making sure you had the right ones and that they were, sturdy.
Okay, I like that analogy. But seriously, the numbers back this up. Salesforce research, they found that 41%, that's almost half, of business leaders see a total misalignment between their data strategy and their big picture business goals.
Which is kind of terrifying when you think about it. It's a recipe for wasted resources, missed opportunities. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
So where do you even begin? How do you align those two things?
Well, the research breaks it down into manageable steps. First things first, define your goals. And I don't mean vague goals like increase revenue. Get specific.
Like increase our win rate with enterprise clients by 15% this year. Kind of specific.
Exactly. The more specific, the better. Because then you can start thinking about your data use cases.
Data use cases. So how can we actually use data to achieve those goals?
You got it. In your example, maybe you'd explore how data can help identify high potential enterprise leads or personalize your sales approach for those clients.
Okay, so it's about figuring out what data you need to achieve your goals, not just gathering every data point under the sun.
Right. You can't manage what you don't measure, right?
And that's where KPIs come in.
Key performance indicators, your measuring sticks, basically. You'd want to track things like the conversion rate of those enterprise leads, the average deal size for that segment.
So you're constantly checking. Are our data-driven actions actually moving the needle on these KPIs? Are we actually getting closer to that 15% increase?
Exactly. You're making decisions with data-driven X-ray vision. But hold on, before you get too far, you need to assess your current data landscape.
You mean taking inventory of what data we already have?
Yeah.
Where it's stored, all that.
Exactly. What do you have? Where is it? Are there gaps you need to fill? This is where tools like Data Cloud or Snowflake might come into play.
Because let's be honest, data can be messy, scattered across different systems, different departments. It's like trying to make sense of a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing.
And this is where a lot of companies stumble, believe it or not. They invest in all the fancy data tools, but they forget about the most important piece of the puzzle, their people.
You mean having people who actually understand the data, who know how to use it?
Yes. The source material is very clear about this. You need to build a data culture within your organization. It's not enough to just have data. People need to trust it, be able to work with it.
It's like having a state-of-the-art oven but not knowing how to bake.
Exactly. You can have all the right tools, but without the skills and the mindset, you're not going to get very far. It's about training, collaboration, making data-driven decision-making part of the DNA of your company.
So it's not just about the tech. It's about the people, the culture. It's bigger than that. It sounds like this whole data maturity thing, it's a journey, not a destination.
Precisely. It's not a light switch you just flip. It's more like building your fitness. You don't go from couch potato to marathon runner in a day. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistency.
So what are the key muscle groups we need to be training here? What does a truly data-fit organization actually look like?
Good question. The research points to 3 core pillars: trusted data, skilled people, and the right technology.
We've talked about the people part and the tech. So let's dig into that first pillar a bit. Trusted data. What does that even mean? It's got to be more than just, accurate data. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It's about complete confidence in your data. Knowing it's accurate, yes, but also consistent, secure. It's about knowing where your data came from, how it's been handled. It's about having that full picture.
So you can trust that it's a true reflection of what's actually happening. You can build on that.
Exactly. You can't build a strong foundation on shaky data, right?
So how do we make sure our data is rock solid? How do we get to that point where we can trust it completely? What are the steps?
That's where data governance comes in. And it's something a lot of businesses overlook. Think of it like a recipe. You wouldn't just throw all the ingredients for a cake into a bowl and hope for the best, would you?
Hopefully not.
Right. There's a process, a system. Data governance is like that. It's about having clear rules and processes for how data is managed, from start to finish.
So it's about establishing ownership, accountability, who's responsible for making sure the data is accurate, what are the standards, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Good governance is proactive, not reactive. It's about preventing problems before they even arise, like having a dedicated team of bakers who are meticulously following the recipe, measuring everything precisely, making sure every ingredient is fresh and high quality.
I like that analogy. But even with the best bakers, things can still go wrong. What about data security? That feels like a whole other layer of complexity.
Absolutely. And the source material is very clear on this. Data security is non-negotiable. It's like installing a state-of-the-art security system in your data bakery. You wouldn't leave your precious ingredients vulnerable, right?
Definitely not. So what are some of the security features we need to be thinking about?
It's about building layers of protection. Encryption, of course, so your data is scrambled and unreadable to anyone without the key. Access control, making sure only the right people have access to sensitive information. And then you have your backups, your recovery processes.
So if someone does manage to break in, you haven't lost everything. Like having a backup recipe hidden away.
Exactly. And don't forget about multi-factor authentication. An extra layer of security on everything, your logins, your systems. It's like having a secret knock for your data vault. Makes it that much harder to break in.
Right. Because even with the best intentions, sometimes human error can create vulnerabilities. So we've got our data cleaned up, organized, we've got our governance structure in place, our security system is top-notch. What's next?
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, there's one more challenge we need to talk about. The dreaded data silo.
Oh no, not the silos. You mean like having all our data trapped in different systems, in different departments, unable to talk to each other.
That's the one. And it's a major roadblock for a lot of businesses. They've got all this valuable data just sitting there, but it's like trying to bake a cake with ingredients that speak different languages.
A recipe for disaster, for sure. So how do we break down these silos? How do we get all our ingredients speaking the same language?
It's all about harmonizing your data, unifying it, creating what we call a single source of truth.
Okay, so instead of a jumbled mess, we've got all our ingredients laid out, ready to go. No more lost ingredients, no more miscommunication.
That's the idea. And the research, it points to data lakes and data lake houses as being really helpful here. Remember those?
Right, the giant reservoirs and those well-organized prep areas. They come in handy, huh?
They're key for bringing all your data together, putting it in a place where it can actually be used.
But it's not just about dumping everything in one giant lake, is it? We still need to make sure it all works together.
Exactly. Integration is key here. You need to connect the dots between your different systems, make sure information can flow freely. It's like, think about it like this. You wouldn't just throw flour, sugar, and eggs into a bowl without mixing them, would you?
It wouldn't be a cake, it would be a, well, mess.
Right. Data integration, it's about making sure your ingredients, your data points, they come together to create something delicious, something meaningful.
So no more data omelets, we're going for a multi-layered cake here.
Got it. And there are tools that can help with that. Cloud data platforms like Snowflake, Salesforce Data Cloud, they're like your high-powered mixers, helping you blend everything together seamlessly.
Okay, I'm following. So we've got our unified data, everything's integrated, our metaphorical kitchen is sparkling. We're finally ready to unleash the power of AI, right?
Exactly. This is where it gets really interesting, because when you have that solid data foundation in place, you can move beyond just collecting and organizing data. You can start activating it.
Data activation. Okay, now we're talking. That sounds much more dynamic than just, data management.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean? How do we go from data to, like, aha moments?
It's about closing the gap between insights and actions. It's about making sure the knowledge you glean from your data is actually used.
So it's not just data for data's sake. It's about making the data work for us, not the other way around. I like that. But can you give me an example, a real-world scenario where data activation is really making a difference?
Sure. Let's talk about customer service. Imagine a world where instead of getting stuck in endless phone trees or talking to unhelpful chatbots, you had an AI assistant that understood your needs instantly and could provide personalized solutions right away.
Okay, now that's something I can get behind. As someone who spent way too much time on hold, The idea of AI-powered customer service sounds like a dream come true.
Right. And it's a dream that's becoming a reality thanks to this idea of data activation. Imagine AI chatbots that have access to your entire purchase history, your past interactions, even your browsing patterns.
That's like a mind-reading customer service agent. No more repeating your issue a million times or getting stuck in those frustrating automated loops.
Exactly. You're getting personalized, proactive support, and it's all powered by data. And the best part is, it's not just good for the customer, it's good for the business too. Faster resolution times, happier customers, potentially even lower costs. It's a win-win.
Okay, I'm sold. That's a powerful example.
Hmm.
But I have a feeling there are tons more. What other industries are seeing big changes with data-driven AI?
Oh, tons. Let's take finance, for example. Data security and fraud detection are huge in that world.
Huge and always evolving.
Exactly. And traditional systems, they often rely on rule-based approaches, which, let's face it, are pretty easy for tech-savvy criminals to bypass.
It's like trying to catch a tech-savvy thief with like a rusty old lock and key. They're always 5 steps ahead.
Exactly. But AI and machine learning, they're changing the game. By analyzing massive data sets of transactions and doing it in real time, AI can pick up on those subtle patterns and anomalies that might indicate fraudulent activity, things humans might miss completely.
So it's like having an AI detective constantly working in the background, connecting the dots, and catching those criminals before they even know what hit them.
That's the idea. And it goes beyond just preventing fraud, too. AI can help assess risk, personalize financial advice, automate complex trading decisions. It's about making the entire financial world smarter, faster, and more secure.
Incredible. We're talking about a revolution in finance. And honestly, it feels like we're only scratching the surface here. What other amazing applications of data-driven AI are out there?
Oh, the possibilities are truly endless. Take healthcare, for example. AI is now being used to analyze medical images, X-rays, MRIs with incredible accuracy, often even more accurately than humans.
So AI is like a second pair of eyes, helping doctors make faster, more accurate diagnoses, potentially life-saving stuff.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. AI can help personalize treatment plans, predict patient outcomes, even speed up the process of discovering new drugs and therapies. It's an incredibly exciting time for healthcare.
Okay, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember none of this would be possible without that solid data foundation we keep coming back to.
100%. It all starts with the data. You can have the most advanced AI algorithms in the world, but without the right data in the right format at the right time, it's useless.
It's like giving a world-class chef a kitchen full of spoiled ingredients.
Right.
Disaster. So as we're kind of wrapping up this section of our deep dive, what's the big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is this. AI isn't some magical solution that's going to solve all your problems overnight. It's a powerful tool, yes, but it's only as good as the data it's built on.
It's about seeing data as the foundation, the essential ingredient in all of this.
Exactly. And that means treating it with care, cultivating it, managing it, and ultimately activating it to unlock its true potential.
It's about building that rock-solid data foundation step by step, data brick by data brick. And then once you have that, the sky is the limit.
Exactly. And as we've seen today, the payoff, happier customers, a safer world, a healthier future, it's huge.
Okay, now I'm even more eager to dive into the future of all of this. What other trends, what other innovations are on the horizon for data and AI? Give us a glimpse into what's coming next.
All right, we're back and ready to dive into the future. It's amazing to see what data and AI can already do, but what's next?
Feels like every day there's something new.
Seriously. So what trends are on the horizon? What should businesses be paying attention to?
Well, one thing that really jumps out from the research is the importance of real-time data. And this makes sense, right? Businesses are generating more data than ever.
Oh, yeah. It's like a fire hose of information, nonstop.
Exactly. And it's not enough to just collect it. You need to be able to analyze it, understand it, and act on it in real time.
Okay, so no more waiting until the end of the quarter to make sense of last quarter's data. We need to be making decisions in the moment. Exactly. Think about it. Businesses can adjust marketing campaigns on the fly based on what customers are doing right now, or optimize their supply chains to respond to changes in demand as they're happening.
Wow. So it's about being agile, being responsive.
It's about moving at the speed of data, because in today's world, if you're not keeping up, you're falling behind.
It's like that saying, time and tide wait for no man. But in this case, it's data waits for no business.
Okay, so real-time data, that's a big one. What
That's a big one. Edge computing.
Okay, edge computing. So what is that exactly?
It's about bringing the power of data processing closer to the source, instead of sending all your data to a giant data center to be analyzed.
Which could take time.
You process it locally, on your devices, in your cars, even in your home.
So it's like having mini data centers everywhere. But why is that so important? Speed, efficiency, security, all those things. Take self-driving cars, for example. You can't have those cars sending data to a data center miles away and then waiting for instructions.
Like they need to be making decisions in milliseconds.
Exactly. Edge computing eliminates that lag time. It also reduces the amount of data that needs to be transmitted back and forth, which means less strain on networks and potentially better security.
So it's faster, more efficient, and more secure. That sounds like a win-win-win.
And it's only going to become more important as we see more and more devices coming online, the Internet of Things, all that. It's generating an incredible amount of data.
It's a lot to wrap your head around. We've talked about building a strong data foundation, about the power of AI, about real-time analysis, edge computing. It's a lot.
It is, but that's the exciting part, right?
It is. But as we wrap up our deep dive here, what's the key message you want to leave our listeners with today?
I think the most important thing is to remember that the world of data and AI is always changing. What works today might not work tomorrow.
So don't get too comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be curious, experiment, be willing to adapt. That's how you thrive in this environment.
Words to live by. This has been fascinating. Thank you so much for guiding us through this complex world.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of data and AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep asking questions.